writing for 500 days is not easy. But what makes it easier is doing it for 500 days in a row. When you're completely committed to something and you have to do it every single day, it does become easier as time goes on. In fact, I would say it's probably easier to write 500 days in a row than it is to write 450 days sporadically in that same time period. The reason why is when you take days off, when you miss days, that's when things creep in. That's when the mind starts to get kind of weird, right? You write for, say, 30 days in a row, you take the 31st day off. 31st day might soon turn into 10 days without writing. Maybe 4 or 5, but still, when you have only 50 days to spare in that same amount of time, it becomes a challenge. It becomes very, 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 very difficult. Consistency makes itself easy. There's an adage that 99% is a bitch, but 100% is easy. It's true. Very relatively speaking, it is much, much easier to do something 100%, to not have to question, not have to fight. With me, there's no argument anymore. There's no argument to get to the keyboard. There's no struggle to get to the writer's desk. I just do it. I do it. It doesn't even register as a thing I have to do. I just do it. And I think for a lot of people, what you're missing is that element. I think for a lot of people, the consistency and what derails this basically is the lack of consistency. And I think a lot of it is because we're not trying to give ourselves no outs. When we give ourselves a chance for an out, that's when we miss days. In missing days, it becomes its own misery. You're always beating yourself up for not writing. You are constantly thinking about what you should be doing, that you should be writing, even when you're trying to enjoy yourself. Wherein it would be much easier to sit on the couch after having written for a few minutes that same day and not have any guilt. So if you're going after this, if you're trying to get back on track or just trying to do really anything, try to do it without missing a day. Try. You'll find it's far easier. After the first few excuse days that you give yourself, the first few past days that you don't give yourself, it becomes so much easier, everyone. Yeah, so real short one today, real quick one. But it needs to be said, like looking at this now, it needs to be said that 100% in all in is far easier than just being wishy-washy. When you're in the middle, you never get anything done. At least when you're fully committed, something's happening. And if you're not doing it at all, well, you're enjoying yourself doing something else. It's that middle ground where you don't do anything significant, but you beat yourself up for it. That is the worst type of hell, the worst misery. So I would encourage you not to be on the fence, to avoid being on that fence and to fall on one side or the other, because just mentally it is way easier to do it. I find that it's way less stressful to go about that process. All right. So real quick, I will see you all tomorrow.